Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of May 22nd through the 28th of 2017. If something about that sounded familiar, as though you had heard me say it 100 times before, that's because you have. How many times have I mentioned May 22nd? And on a Monday, no less. Oh, this is exciting, all right? This is the day, this is the week that we have been waiting for. And this week also features on the 25th, the new moon in Gemini. I have had many people ask me, Cecilia, why did you choose May 22nd? And the answer was simple. When you look at all of the energies that have been around since the year began, this is when finally we were free of our Venus retrograde and our Mercury retrograde. Shadow's done, it's out of the way. And it's interesting because when I look at the cards that are here in front of me, one of the things that I see is the renewal and the rebuilding of relationships. So this is an interesting time. Many of you, I have said to you, wait until May 22nd to see what you want to do with that relationship. Are you going to ditch it or are you going to work on it? So, this is where you're going to start figuring that out. And it's that moment where what has not been clear, that confusion parts. And the best way I've ever been able to describe getting to this week is if you'd been going through a jungle where there wasn't a whole lot of visibility and going through the fog, and then all of a sudden you come to a clearing and the fog is gone and you can see what's off in the distance. But the thing is that it is off in the distance. It's not right there. Like if you came out of the jungle and walked out onto the beach, you'd be looking across the water at like an island or going, over there, that's where I'm going. But now you know, and you can tell. And this is the point where you can begin to prepare for that. For many of you, I have a feeling that the turning point with this, is going to be late August, where you're going to see the things that you're beginning this week happening. You've been trying for a really long time. You've had a lot of ideas and, how you thought it was going to play out and what you thought you were going to do. But this is the finally the week where you get to say, okay, I kind of get it now. Now I know what I have to do. And now is where you begin. So there's a big difference. This is, wow, it's funny because it's not something I've ever heard myself say before. I want to say like building rainbows over the hard times, over the darkness, almost like a bridge. That's weird, but it is what I see. In other words, you're just going to go right on over it. You're building something new. And this is working on what makes you happy. And remember this as well. This is not the same happiness as whatever you were doing before things got bad 5 years ago. Okay, this is totally different. It is a whole new life. And it's showing it here. As far as your commitments go, I think there's a lot more cooperation with others, people being able to see eye to eye. And one of the things that I like is others being able to respect your individuality. And that's important because one of the things I've had to explain to so many of you, I want to say more so privately, is that, what makes a good relationship is not having to sacrifice yourself, like sacrifice who you are in order to make it work. You're only cheating yourself when you do that. And when I look at the cards, I see all of that here. So this is a good time. You're becoming more grounded. You know who you are. You know where you want to go. But it all boiled down to getting to this point, which is amazing. You couldn't make a choice because you couldn't really see what the choices were. It was more like knowing that you needed to make one, but it was there was a lot of indecision there, wasn't there? Trying to figure that out. Well, now you can figure it out. And I think, if you rely on your intuition, it will help you. It will help guide you. There's also, that patience factor, but not patient like you've been before. This is patience with yourself, with getting things together, because once you finally can choose a direction and you know which way you're going to go, you have to get together. Remember, we've talked about this, getting together those details for your change. And your change is very much about what you do in the next 3 months. I really want to say 4, because I think in 4, in September, is when you just feel free from it all and happy and celebrating, because you're in that new phase by then. Sometime, I want to say sometime after September the 9th. Okay, keep that in mind. I know I always mention a lot of dates for you to mark on the calendar, but you'll see the changes as they come along. And you've been as you reach this week, you've been in a new phase with the nodes in Leo and Aquarius as of the 10th. Okay, so you're starting to see new themes emerge, and having cleared the hurdles with Venus and Mercury, you're really in a new space here. It's a whole new space. It's a whole new ball game. So things are actually really going to smooth out. And I say that you arrive in 4 months. So that's like September. Late September, you're there. But what do you want to create? It's almost, see, it's a whole new life that's coming, giving birth to. I'm not going to say 100% everything is going to be different. That would just be bizarre. It'd be like playing musical chairs in the universe and we all just switch things around and see where we wind up. It's not like that. This is about what you're building, and you're standing your ground. You have found a foothold finally, okay, for the abundance that you want to create. So, part of the plan is it's not so much that you have issues to put to rest now. You've pretty much put the issues to rest. It's, I want to say, like new issues and challenges, which are things that you need to do to get to the new part. This is another phase that's here, and that's what you're working on. And I really think that by the time you've reached the 4th month, June, July, August, September, right? Yeah. Kind of like that equinox time frame. Remember, we spoke about that before. Going from equinox to equinox, from March the 20th to September the 20th. And that you were working on changes and your new identity and what was coming in the future. So, you're finally here at this week. And once you see what it is that you need to do, it doesn't mean that you get it all done this week. Keep that in mind. All right, but you can start with that plan, because you're really working on freeing yourself from situations that were stressful while retaining what's important to you. So I already said it, that you're giving birth to a new phase. There is a whole rebirth that's coming here next month, and you're going to see it just as you go along. By the time you get to the end of June, you're just like, I'm good. That's how you're feeling. Your creativity is back. Your what's the word I'm looking for? Like your relationship with the universe, how you feel. Because you've had days where you've been like, why? That kind of thing. But it's different now. It's like, almost like you kind of get it. You kind of get it. Things are balancing out, and you've achieved a greater understanding. That doesn't mean that everybody out there is going to say, oh, I'm so happy for everything that I went through. I don't think anyone is happy for the experience. They might be happy with where it has led them when they get to the new spot. Okay, but I would never expect anyone to say that they were happy for it. Now, here's the thing, occasionally, and I'm going to say at some point in this week, it's like, because, when you see where you want to go and you know where you want to go, you make the choice, you're making the plan, and I think there's a moment where you doubt it. Okay? Like, is it going to work? Is it going to happen? Do I finally deserve to be happy? Do I deserve to have my turn? The answer is yes, you do. You know, don't hold yourself back. There is like a major message here. When this week gets here, the only one who can stop you is you. You know, there's a whole new beginning that's awaiting you. And this is like a grand adventure. Okay? I don't know how else to explain it other than after everything else that you've been through, reaching this point and making this work, it's not just a challenge, it's a challenge that you accept. And you're like, I can do this. I can make this happen. There are finally breakthroughs and movement. You know, after a period where it's just felt like you were in this limbo, I think that's all going to be over. You're going to see it in the next couple of months that you're really completely getting away from all of that. But I call it the nonsense, because that's pretty much what it was. As you set out on this journey, you know, over the next couple of months, like June, July, you're gonna need to be flexible with things. All right, just try to go with the flow, with the ways of the universe. And there's still a lot of work involved here, a lot left to, you know, work out responsibility-wise and everything else. So your victory is really in the future. I say 3 months from now, okay? When it comes to your goals, if you have a clear eye on them, you know, if they're not all fantasy. See, if you're trying to make it be what it was in the past relationships that didn't work, other things in life that didn't work out, then all right, this is all new, and it's what is really meant to be. Okay, so if you're focusing on those goals and you remain determined with them and just keep at it, you know, persistence, in other words, you're breaking out, you're breaking free of it all, and things are really just going to soar. And I've said this so many times, that fantastic eclipse on August 21st. Actually, I believe both eclipses in August will be very positive. There's also one, I want to say it's on the 6th, in Aquarius, which is the lunar eclipse, okay? And both very positive times. So there's a lot of change that's coming, and that's not all that's happening in August, but it's what you do now, the clarity that you have. As long as you're looking forward this week and not backward, you're going to be headed in the right direction. And it gets clearer by the day, and you're going to keep working at it. So is it the end of the challenges in your life? Not completely. I mean, they never go away. Life's not perfect, so you know you're going to have more. But this time, the hard times, the end of the hard times, yeah, you're working on fortifying the future and what you're going to do. And whatever it is, it takes that turn in August. This is all about karma, which, you know, it's just amazing to me. So let's think back for a minute here. What was it? March 20th, 2015, lunar eclipse at the anaretic degree of Pisces, right? Universe said, that's it. You're done. Okay. Wasn't anything you could do about it. And then you spent the next almost 2 years figuring it out. So you're done with that cycle. You are in a new cycle now. You're in the Leo Aquarius cycle, and things are changing. So here you are. Those challenges from the past, they're done. Hopefully lessons have been learned, wisdom has been gained, and it's easier to move on and move forward. There's a great deal of creativity here, and many of you this year have been working on learning new things, but I really think that this is where it truly begins. I think you've been wanting to, I think you've been trying to, but it's changing. And, you know, you are much calmer now. I like this a lot. There is so much more. I want to say it's a generosity of spirit that's coming in, because there's more balance in your life. And it's not that you're running around giving everything away. It's kind of like that person who's experienced hard times, and then all of a sudden they've been set free, and it's like they're just dancing through town, saying hi and tipping their hat to everyone they meet. It's that kind of a feeling. That's where you're headed. That's where you're on your way to. And many others have observed what you've been through, and I think, I want to say, like, they're looking at you in amazement at what you accomplish and the balance that you bring to your life. And you're really bringing this balance by, like, August, September, where it's just so different. And, you know, we talked about your vision for change, who you're becoming, all of that, right? What opportunities do you wish to manifest? It just goes on and on. If you are at this point with this reading, you have nothing coming really but success. And even success with relationships, like, you know, finally with love. But if there is one that has caused aggravation, you'll be moving on by August, okay? And that feels like it's for a good reason. Now, this doesn't have to be a love thing, but it's definitely, I think, I'm going to say, like, a relationship which has held you back from being you. So if you have been trying to get to that point, that new identity point, that's it. That's it right there. You have to get away from it, whatever it is. Yeah, totally separating yourself. It's amazing to me, because it's kind of like the last thing, whatever that last thing is, that connects you to the past. And, you know, outwardly, you know, others may not view it as, you know, part of it, but it is. It could be your home. It could be a relationship. It could be your job. It could be anything. But once you have removed that last thing from your life, that's it. You're back in the saddle. You're in charge, and you're the one who, yeah, definitely taking charge, creating security, creating, I want to say commitment, but not commitment. It's just that whole general feeling of things being right. And that's what's coming. It starts right now. So I want to thank you all very much for listening. I'll see you here again real soon. Take care.